Hello, my name is Father Jim Greenfield. I'm an Oblate of St. Francis de Sales, and I welcome you here to this video reflection on the Feast of Christmas. Presently, we're here in the community room of the Oblate Provincial Residence and Office Suite here in Wilmington, Delaware. In the name of all of my Oblate brothers who are priests, brothers, seminarians on the East Coast of the United States, I wish you the joy of this very holy and blessed season. One of the things we Oblates of St. Francis de Sales do best is share what we call our charism. Charism is a fancy Greek word. It means gift. And so I can't think of a better gift to offer than the gift of our spirituality and to share a thought right from St. Francis de Sales. I'm going to take that thought from a book that Francis wrote in the year 1609. The book is called The Introduction to a Devout Life. This book was called by one Salesian scholar a spiritual cookbook. And I couldn't agree more wholeheartedly, because back then and today it's a collection of homilies and spiritual advice that St. Francis gave to women and men that he lived with when he was the Bishop of Geneva and lived in a little town called Annecy, present day in the French Alps. This book, some say, is the third most popular spiritual book around. Obviously, the first one is the Bible. The second most popular is The Imitation of Christ, written by someone in a time when people were trying to develop and practice spirituality. His name was Thomas à Kempis, and Francis wrote in the late 16th and early 17th century. And the third most popular book, Introduction to a Devout Life. I have the paperback version. Obviously, this was not the book that he actually saw, but this is a book I've been carrying around with me ever since 1985, when I used it to teach a group of seniors at Salesianum School, Salesian Spirituality. And so as I took this off my bookshelf to share with you today, I'm kind of going back to the past and some of my former students, and hopefully that they're still using these insights today. But here's the gift I like to share. It's from the third part on the virtue of patience. Francis writes this: amid the difficulties you meet in the exercise of devotion, remember the words of our Lord. A woman about to give birth has great sorrow, but when she has brought forth her child, she no longer remembers the anguish for joy that a man is born into the world. Within your soul, you have Jesus Christ, the most precious child in the world. And until he is wholly brought forth and born, you cannot help suffering from your labor, but be of good heart, for these sorrows will pass and everlasting joy will remain with you, for having brought forth such a man into the world. This is the task of the Christian life, whether in the 16th or 17th century or the 21st century. Francis de Sales beckons us to live Jesus. That was his motto, simply live Jesus, to bring him forth through our own unique lifestyle with our own personalities. So this Christmas time, the gift Francis gives us that we Oblates like to share with you is that keen insight that all of us are called in some profound way through the simplicity and ordinariness of our own life to bring Jesus into the world. In conclusion, here in Wilmington, as I mentioned, where we're filming this, we have a school on the other side of town. It's called Nativity Prep, a school that bears the name of the birth of Jesus. We Oblates founded that school in the year 2003 to make sure that inner city boys would have an opportunity to have an education so that they could make a difference in the world. We teach them about Jesus Christ. We teach them the insights of Francis de Sales. But most importantly, it reminds all of us that there's something we can do to make a difference in that world, whether it's educating or being a parent, being a teacher, being a social worker, working in an office. Wherever we find ourselves, we have the opportunity to live Jesus. A Jesuit priest said one time, very provocative, very challenging, he said this, and his name is Pedro Arrupe. that if there is hunger anywhere in the world, the Eucharist is incomplete everywhere in the world. Those are challenging words. But on this feast of Christmas, where we remember Jesus born into Bethlehem, a word which literally means house of bread, we are reminded that we, having received Eucharist, need to be that Eucharist in the world, to make a difference in the world. And so, Merry Christmas. The challenge is there for all of us, not simply to think it's singing carols and gathering to open gifts, but it's being a gift for others, being the Eucharist in the reality of our world. I pray God is deeply blessed by the way we go about being that gift in the world. Merry Christmas.